There were great opportunities to make money this morning if you had the right strategy and you used the right technical analysis to play off your levels, to know what VWAP to use and what direction we overall probably want to go. So let's hop right into the charts and you'll see exactly what I mean here. First things here on the 15-minute side of things, heading into New York Open, you can see a little bit move down overnight, a little lower highs potentially. But heading into New York Open here, we're actually pulling back down around this daily VWAP. So now what wants to happen from here? Well, heading into the open, we're below this blue yesterday's New York VWAP. We spent time below the daily VWAP overnight. Sentiment just overall, looking left to right, has been pretty bearish. So I could believe another day of shorts want to come in since we haven't taken out that previous day's high. And now we're potentially getting VWAP alignment to the downside, right? I can get below both of these VWAPs. I'm heading into the open looking for some shorts. So if we go over here to the 1 minute, you'll see why you could potentially warrant a mid-range while this 15-minute opening range is setting in a short just around this level. We don't know exactly where you want to put your stop loss at opening range high because, again, it's mid-range. There's not definite level of where the open range high is as it could still be moving around. So you want to give it a buffer space a little bit above. Maybe you could play off these 15-minute pins here on the left like I was mentioning, of maybe these pre-market highs back here. That could be a smart play. But if you don't want to trade at mid-range, that's absolutely fine. I think the trade to avoid using some discretion is maybe a short play, continuing the trend back down off New York VWAP. Now, if you've seen Futures 2.0, you know I love this setup. This is the one I teach in Futures 2.0 on ASFX TV, which we'll take a look at in a second. That it's not an awful short. I could definitely see sellers defending this New York VWAP. We have a nice clear downtrend. Here's our retest to a key level. Let's go continue that trend lower. I can see why you'd want to see that happen, and you definitely could have seen it happen. I think the one thing that could keep you out of it or make you hesitate like it did for me today, let's go over the micros here because I have the markup on the chart already. If you see here, this white line above us is the gap fill from yesterday. We had a small gap up, very, very close to it. That if you measure from our gap up here to that price line, it's only 5 points. So we only opened 5 points below it. There's a great chance we could want to go fill that gap at the open, but it didn't want to happen. But there's still an 84% chance today that that gap fill would want to be engaged with. So knowing that information, we can go over here to edge fill and check it out. Based on that gap size of 0.08, when we gap down in the past 6 months, 84% of the time, it's filled. So with that high probability, could you want to short it here off that New York VWAP like I have marked up? You could. You could play that risk of, yeah, we don't look like we want to go get that gap fill today, so let me just continue trading short. You could absolutely say that, but the probabilities are probabilities. There's still an 84% chance we want to come higher to engage that gap fill. That's exactly what it does. It fills that gap, and then those shorts that you wanted come into play. Another thing we could put in, I have it here on the mini side of things, is that yesterday's New York VWAP. So now that you know that gap fill is there, right? You see that gap fill respected over here. It also rejects that yesterday's New York VWAP, a previous day's New York VWAP, which I love. So you can definitely warrant shorts once you get now back below New York VWAP, seeing a reject off that key level, and you're pretty much getting the same price you wanted back here. Just 30 minutes later, after you've seen that key probability played out, and arguably on the 15-minute, we could blow that up one more time. I love the pins to it. You could see this final pin that we have to this yesterday's New York. That's what we were getting here pre-market. We got it here, retested there again, and that candle actually flipped back bearish on the 15-minute below the daily VWAP. So I really, really love that close, being that we're still falling on top of here, still have VWAP alignment to the downside that I'm looking for shorts underneath the daily and the previous New York here in blue. That's going to look great for shorts. So once you go get that gap fill, well, now there's no necessary stat above you saying we want to go higher. Not that the chart was telling you that anyways, but now you have no fear that, hey, this thing might want to come back higher because we already fulfilled that 84% probability, and now we're going to head back lower. Now, the mistake a few people made, and I fell into that basket as well, selling it on the break back below the New York VWAP. The patience on this is what's going to be the key factor on if you make money or not, right? We can slide this over. Never once was it invalidated. We hold this opening range low level beautifully, as well as the New York VWAP here. We just continue to retest it. That sellers are definitely still in control. I want to be a seller. I mean, you could easily see it when I remove all this. Where would I want to be scared out of my shorts? It's still falling on top. We're still underneath New York VWAP more so than not. And the 15-minute is looking very, very bearish with all these 15-minute closes, right? You can see here, this is at the start of the 1045 bar, but by the end of it, it's right back down, leaving a nice wick to the upside. So that should keep you patient and still liking the shorts. I could blow it up here one more time, and you'll see my point. Every 15-minute chop here is a nice little pin on the 15-minute, right? Started to be bullish, couldn't hold, couldn't hold. So sellers are stepping in every single time, more so and more so. So if you stick through it, you get a nice trade for a new low a day. And then there's the shorts that you wanted back here. Same price that it falls from. That is the price that pays. But if you get in after the full pullback, you make money on the second time. So if you do take this trade earlier, again, it's the same price. You might just have to swing twice now that we rejected yesterday's New York view up one more time. Now we can throw on the initial balance levels as well. That's going to be our red lines here. Another huge thing on that pin up, that's at, what time is that? That's at 10:25. So the initial balance is almost set, but not quite yet. And we actually haven't taken out a side yet until we get down here. So then once that bottom half is taken out, I'm really only looking for shorts and that trend continuation, similar to what we saw on Monday. And you can see how well it reacts off this initial balance low. Break and retest, break and retest. And then we get another nice push in a trend continuation. So where would you likely want to sell this? Because it is pretty flat down here. I don't love that. But I'm definitely still a seller today. I'm not going to call the bottom here. That's the fun thing to do that's the fun, exciting thing to do and try to be all cute and try to call the bottom. Okay, we're going to pump up here and be bullish for some reason. 15 minutes still very heavily bearish. We're still falling on top, respecting underneath our key levels. Let me just do the smart thing, the probability thing, and look for the next short. So hopefully you guys can make money in that little catch here. Even if you anchor a low a day view up there, you can find another small pullback and a break for another new low a day. And then, right, if you've seen Futures 2.0, like I mentioned, now we're far from all our key levels, right? These first trades, key level of New York VWAP, check. These second trades, key level of initial balance low. Where is the key level down here that we're trading and bouncing off of? Nothing really. It's a little bit overextended, you could say, here on the 15-minute as we had this nice big move down. Far from every VWAP you could imagine. So now I kind of want to see a pullback. You get that deep, heavy pullback to what? The key level, right to New York VWAP and the initial balance low this time. You can catch more money short, maybe in that small little scalp, if not this later afternoon play. So I highly suggest if you're not already and if you're struggling at trading specifically, focus on key levels, scratch out all the other trades and focus just off of key levels. And I promise you'll slim out a lot of those losses. And yes, you'll take just as many winners as you are, but you could also avoid many, many losers. Rather than chasing it this far down here, hoping there's more move left in it, wait for that key VWAP, wait for that key level of initial bounce low or New York VWAP, whatever it is. Just use a key level, the ones I give you in Futures 2.0, and you'll find a lot more ease and less stressful moves because you're catching it after the pullback is likely done, right? It's likely done pulling back because we're at these key levels. Same thing with the New York VWAP or even the yesterday's New York VWAP way up here, right? So if you haven't seen Futures 2.0, you actually can go to AceFX TV and use my name, Evan Dyer, or actually just use code Evan, and I'll give you 50% off your first month so that way you can get access to those two courses that I'm talking about, as well as join the daily live streams when I take these trades live. So definitely consider doing it. You can start a free trial as well. No harm in that. Study the courses and then tune into the streams all next week, all the rest of this week, whenever you're watching this. And then we can find those trades together and you can see how I avoid certain setups, why I wait for this level to be engaged with first, X, Y, and Z. And so hopefully you guys understand that once you start seeing these key levels respected so much, I really don't want to take anything else not off a key level because I see so much power in these levels. Why do I waste my time in trading something that's not off of it, right? You really have to touch the stove in a good way of, I've traded all these other trades not off a key level. And yeah, I've made money sometimes, but I make way more consistent money when I wait for the better setups, the deeper pullbacks off a key level. And that's where my success is coming from. So I highly suggest you adopt it as well. And then you can come back to me and tell me how it's working for you. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking of these New York VWAP plays, the initial balance plays, all those good things. So hopefully you guys made money today. It's pretty identical if you look at it to Monday that we had of this very same week. Clean lower highs and lower lows. And just to go back to it, let's rewind it real quick and see where our VWAPs were. Wow, that's interesting. So on Monday, we have open range key level retest, an initial balance key level retest, and then an open range in New York VWAP again. So you get the nice moves off of these key levels. But yes, this one, Evan, it's off initial balance and it didn't run. Well, first off, I didn't say every single one is going to. But two, maybe you could say, well, I see it off initial balance, but I'd love it off of New York because we're a little extended away from it. Whatever you want to say about it. There's, of course, going to be losers, but there's many, many winners of even this one again. Initial balance low. See you later. So I think the proof is right there. It's not my opinion. This is the chart speaking for me. And then, yes, if you trade it down here, not off a key level, right over here, whatever, you can make money, but you just don't know how much you can track that, how consistently you could do that. But I know I can consistently make money off of these key levels. So if you have any questions on it, always feel free to reach out. If you need an account that I'm trading with, I'm with Tradeify right now. Again, you could use code Evan. I'll save you 30% off on all their accounts. And then other than that, follow your rules, trade safe. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.